What's going on, YouTube? Today we are installing the Wolfbox G900 Pro. Stay tuned. So as you can see, I have that giant camper on the back of it, and I can't see anything out of my rear mirror. But this will solve that problem for me. Let me show you what it's like right now. Alright, so we walk in. I sit down, and you can't really tell, but that's the view I have out my back window. And I don't know about you, but I can't see anything. So that's where the G900 Pro is gonna solve that problem for us. Let's dive in. First things first, in order to put that on, I'm thinking we're gonna take that off. That way it's not so big and bulky, because here is how it would sit with my stock rearview mirror on, and it's too big for my likings. So we're gonna take that off and then install that. So I basically sped this part up because it was the most time consuming, but on the back of the camera there's these brackets that come on the camera if you were just to mount it to the original rearview mirror. But since I wasn't going to be doing that, I took those brackets off and mounted it to the camera holder that it came with. There's the brackets with like a little pad glued onto it. You rip those pads off and then you unscrew them and then screw the new bracket on. Very self-explanatory, very simple. Took me a while to figure it out, but yeah. And I didn't realize this just yet, but I was trying to use the original piece that was glued onto the windshield for the original rearview mirror. I was trying to use that and try to get away without having to glue another piece on, but every time I adjusted the camera, it would just fall off that piece. As you can see right there, it just wasn't going on. So I decided to just super glue the original, or not the original, sorry, the bracket that it came with onto the windshield, and it did not budge whatsoever. Here, let me show you guys what it looks like. How do I flip this camera? Oh. Well, we got the camera on, or not the camera, but the actual mirror on. What's next? Just got to start running wires to it and see if it turns on. I'm sure it will. I just wanted to plug everything in, test it out for the first time. I'm like a little kid on Christmas morning right now. I think that's probably the coolest thing I've added to this Bronco. Heck yeah. So this thing is full touchscreen. It's like there's no lag in it whatsoever either. We're in America, so we're gonna hit English. Let's see. Let's see, where are we at on here? Arizona. Yeah, I haven't hooked up the rear camera. But let's see, let's take the sticker off on the rear camera. Dang, there she is. It's on. Super clear resolution. Oh, okay. You can move it up or down. See, I'm not too sure how to work that. Figure that out. But heck yeah. See, let's mess with the settings on here. So it looks like this is a record button. Adjust the brightness, which is nice. I wonder what that does. You can take a picture. Nice. You can lock it. Oh, exit emergency. Oh, that's to see if there's any collisions. That makes sense. Let's see here. What other? Oh. Nice, nice. Let's go to settings. Resolution, 4K, 30 frames per second. Display modes, front camera. We're gonna do the split screen once we get the rear camera set up. Sound record, that's to record the sounds, of course. Loop recording, not too sure what that is. You got a fatigue reminder when you're driving super long. You got Wi-Fi, which is very nice. Let's see. There we go. Volume, click tone, screensaver, screen brightness, exposure. We're gonna go to time. Oh, it's on. Let's see. Clock setting. It is currently, let me find out what time it is. It is currently 6:07. Wrong way. Oh, this is 6:08. There we go. Time format. Month, day, year. Perfect, that's how I like it. Time style, 12 hours. You got the SD card. I already have the app downloaded. That's where you can actually retrieve all your recordings on the phone, on the app, which is nice. But yeah, this is super cool. Adds a very modern touch to my very vintage truck, which is very nice. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the app and I'll let you know how that goes. Alright, so that's basically what I did to start feeding the wires through from down there up to the Wolfbox. I removed this panel to make it a bit easier for me. and just running it behind there. Gonna go all the way down and underneath. Super simple, super easy to install. All right, so here's what I was thinking for mounting this rear camera. I can't really mount it to the top of the door frame, so I was thinking I mount it up there, and then with that wire extension, I just run some extra wire to it, give it some slack. That way when the pop-up goes up, it's not tugging on anything. But yeah, I'll just mount it up there, facing it downwards, and that way it gives us more vision back here. All right, so here's the game plan. We're gonna mount it like this up here. I'm gonna use a self-tapping screw. Then I kind of have it angling downwards. That way when it's closed, it's not just pointed straight up. It's actually pointed a little bit down so we can still see behind us. And then we can always adjust it later. These mounts are super adjustable, which is very nice. But yeah, let's get to work. All right, so we got the self-tapper to go in. But before we go all the way in, I'm gonna seal it off with some sealant. That way there's no water getting in there. And then we're gonna have to drill another hole that goes all the way through to feed the wire through. And there, just like that. It's pretty nice and sealed. It's not going nowhere, it's stuck in there. This roof is actually all aluminum, so I just found out, which is very nice. I mean, it would make sense for it to be, that way I can mount solar panels and stuff up here. But yeah, it's on. All right, so I just got that rear camera installed, and I don't know if you can see it from here, but there it is. It's actually like, consider it being a 2.5K. Super clear quality, super nice. Ooh, let me zoom it back out. But as for this red wire, this you can tap into your reverse lights, that way that camera automatically comes on. But as you can see, it's not long enough and I can't get to the reverse lights, so I probably won't be doing that. So I thought I'd show you how I got the wires from up here all the way through. Go ahead and open it up. And right now, I just have it hanging down. Yeah. But, and there, let me get up in here. I had this from the lights, the marker lights that I previously installed. And I ran it along on top of that curtain rod. Up, right there, back down, and then above the trim. It's hard to see, but the trim right there. And I ran it through, and then plugged into the camera. All right, so we got everything connected. That was like ridiculously easy, feeding the wires all the way through. I just got to organize that part a bit more. And back there, I don't know if you can see it very well, but yeah, turn on screen. Has voice controls, which is super cool. Show rear camera. And then you can adjust it up or down, which is very nice. Show front camera. But yeah, so far I'm absolutely loving this. It makes everything a lot easier. Super smooth. So this, remember when I said you should be able to use that? Well, that didn't end up working, so I went ahead and used the mount that was given to me, and it is in place. It is not going nowhere. But yeah, there's the Wolfbox G900 Pro. I'm very happy. A little disclaimer: if you have the camera on 24 hours, on the 24-hour like parking setting, if you have an older truck, your battery's most likely gonna die. That's what happened to me. Not hating on Wolfbox. I mean, it's a 1989 Bronco. Yeah, super old, but it works. Now, once you get the Wi-Fi hooked up and the app running on your phone, you'd be able to get this recording of the dash cam onto your phone.